Hey guys, let's see if I can get this thing to turn around here. How are you? I don't know how come I'm not getting the comments on my iPhone. I must have hit some kind of a weird, device on it. But all the chat thread. So I did a broadcast there. I thought, what? Nobody's watching? Look at 1,400 people. They're speechless. I was trying to figure out where you guys were. I can't figure it out. Hold on a second. Let me just go with post. I'm going to do something here. Live video. I want to talk about the Meltdown in Hollywood. This place is driving me nuts. A little bit bright here. Don't you think it's a little bright? Sorry about that. A little bit too much light. Ah! Reminds you of the Fukushima reactor thing. I'm glad it held up today in that earthquake. Ah! Okay, so, wait a second. Facebook, where are you? There we go. Hup. How are we doing here? By the way, I want to introduce you to some friends of mine. Here, Facebook, meet Periscopians. Periscopians, meet Facebook. How are you? We're all kind of linking up in a cosmic Vulcan mind meld here in the Lance world. Yes, we have Periscopians are the people that are on Periscope. And Facebookians, well, it's not quite as cool a name. We'll come up with another name for you eventually as soon as I come up with it. All right, listen, I want to talk to you. I know we're a little crooked here. Remember Batman when we were kids? How the set was always off. I can't get my tripod straight. But forget that. We have news to talk about, and I know your time is valuable, and I don't want to be one of those people that sits there and says, well, let's wait a few minutes for everybody to get on, because you guys are only on for 11 seconds, I'm noticing. I want to talk about what's going on with Hollywood. I just came back from Washington, D.C., and this is another experience I had, which is, we'll discuss that at another time, but it was interesting. It certainly was interesting. But we need to, I'm just going to say this, we need to get some fresh blood into the aging evangelical conservative movement. We need some more variety, more versatility. Anyway, be that as it may, I want to talk to you right now about the Hollywood Meltdown, Tinseltown Meltdown. I am first of all, that cast of Hamilton. What the heck? I'm not going to go off on this anymore. If you've been watching the news, the Hamilton cast just humiliates and embarrasses Vice President-elect Pence. And he's sitting there with his niece and his kids. The guy can't even, he's working all day at Trump Towers, tries to go see a play, and then the cast has to lecture him, which is what the left does. You get it? They're all about anti-bullying. They are the biggest bullies in the world. I want you guys to catch it. It's the mind meld of the left. I mean, it's like some kind of demonic twisto thing on their brain. They'll single you out in the audience and mock you. It's the essence of bullying. And of course, this cast, here's the hilarious part. This cast is famous. Do you know what it's famous for? The only Broadway production that insisted that no white males audition. Can you imagine that? The Actors Union had a momentary meltdown because every cast member has to be a minority. They said no, Caucasians need apply. How's that for a little bit of discrimination in the artist community? And then they have the temerity to get on the platform and lecture Pence on inclusiveness while they're bullying him. Outrageous, you say. But even funnier is the illiteracy of actors. I mean, none of these people are PhDs up there. I mean, I'm all about thespians and, people that, are actors. I love acting. I love comedy. I love theater. That would have been my calling if I wasn't doing something else. But I'll tell you something. Never confuse that with intelligence, because there's a certain talent, but it's not necessarily all-encompassing. For instance, none of those kids on that platform that may be good at singing, dancing, memorizing lines knows the first twit about Constitution, the federal papers, or even the fact that while they're sitting there talking about the popular vote over instead of the Electoral College, the hilarious reality is Hamilton, the main character of their play, invented the Electoral College to save us from knuckleheads like them. Let me repeat, for those of you that didn't catch the soundbite. While they're all ranting about inclusion and they're exclusion-oriented. They did not audition everybody. And while they're talking about Hamilton as a premise for educating people, it's a play. However, the people that are actors don't even know their own subject matter because Hamilton is the guy that invented the Electoral College. Did you get that? All right. So, but then I go, I'm going to get away from this because it's just typical. I always talk about the 7 mountains of culture, and I'm telling you, there's a stronghold over media. You know it. You can see it with all the news media, right? Media is different than Hollywood. What you're seeing with the actors in Broadway plays, why I separate in the Seven Mountains. Media from arts. Other people don't. I do, because media is supposed to be truth-telling. But when they're lying, it's the ultimate form of intellectual invasion, because media is supposed to be, journalists are not supposed to be telling you their ideology. They're supposed to be presenting what's happening. If you're if you're a pundit, you give your opinion. If you're a journalist, you give the facts, but not so fast, Hashimoto. Not in the media business. So anyway, I try to get away from that. And so we got the music awards last night, and then you got these kids, these obnoxious kids. They're 20 and 21 years old. I'm convinced their parents probably didn't discipline them enough when they were kids. I mean, the attitude some of these young, it's like punky. I mean, it's like high school bullying. So anyway, here's your new celebrity breed that's out there. You got, what the heck, last night, Gigi Hadid, fashion girl, 22 years old, 21 years old. Gigi Hadid mocks Melania Trump, spends a week perfecting how to make fun of an immigrant first lady who she says is acting like the trophy wife. This is first of all, this is feminism slapped in the face, saying that a brilliant and a beautiful woman can't be competent. And this is a fashion model bullying a fashion model. This is hilarious. And she mocks Melania Trump and does a terrible impersonation, which, here's a little advice for you there, Gigi. You're a fashion model, not a comedian. Comedy takes talent. It's something you don't have for this profession. Stick to fashion. Avoid comedy. But here's the problem in Hollywood. Do you remember West Wing? When I grew up, Martin Sheen started becoming like an advocate for all kinds of liberal democratic causes. He was like a Clinton spokesman. And then I realized these actors think they are the role. He's doing West Wing, and in his mind, he's the president. And then he gets up at the National Democratic Party, and he thinks he's got some grip on political science because he's an actor playing the president. Did you see Sully, the movie Sully? About the brilliant Captain Sully who landed the plane almost like miraculously in the New York Harbor when a flock of geese hit the plane? Played by Tom Hanks. Let me tell you something. Tom Hanks is a great actor. But if you ever see Tom Hanks trying to break down the cabin door to get into the cockpit to land a U.S. Airlines plane, knock him out, sedate him, hit him with a dart gun, a tranquilizer, do something. Tom Hanks is an actor, not a pilot. Newsflash. Liberals, listen to us. Beyonce. Did you see Jay-Z? Do you get it, Bill Maher? All of your singing and dancing and antics did not move the vote a needle, a point. No, we don't listen to you. You don't have credibility. Everyone, including your fans. We watch you wiggle, you make us giggle, but we don't listen to you because outside of what we pay you to do to be entertainers, you have no credibility on intellectual subject matter outside of your domain. Stick with the arts. That's what you're good at. Stick with comedy, but it doesn't mean we're under your influence. Doesn't mean we're going to vote the way you think. We just, we enjoy humor. We enjoy dancing and jumping around. So anyway, I mean, honestly, can you imagine like Tom Hanks, he knows, but he's a great guy. But Matt Damon. Matt Damon's another flaming liberal out there who's got opinions and everything. Listen, I love Matt Damon and Jason Bourne. But if Matt Damon ever gets in a bar fight with somebody who's a mixed martial artist, I'm going to tell you right now, the smartest thing he can do is pay his bodyguard to deal with it while he gets into a cab. Matt Damon is not Jason Bourne. It's a character. You get it? Here's the problem in Hollywood. They take themselves too flippant seriously. They don't know. We don't. And now it's dawning on them that we don't. And they're having an existential crisis because they're realizing they are the only ones listening to themselves and laughing at their own jokes and under the influence of their own Vulcan mind meld. Does that make sense? That's a Lance rant. I had to get this out of my system because the arts method is manifesting. These are like the spirits. See, the way my worldview is, they're spiritual principalities and powers that come down upon gates of influence. The 7 primary gates of influence are in your community. They're in mammon or money or economics. They're in religion. They're in education. They're in politics. They're in media, and they're in all the forms of the arts. And so these gates of influence shape the environment, and they mingle together to create like a chicken pot pie of culture. And what happens is a small minority of these big mouth voices thought they controlled the culture. But every now and then in an election cycle, you find out everybody isn't drinking what you're selling. There's an interesting verse in the book of Revelation that says Satan like spews forth something out of his mouth, but the earth swallows it up. And he does it to get the woman, to get the church actually. He does it to get into the brains of the church. But that's another broadcast for another time. I'm going to expose how the left has wiggled and wormed its way into Christianity Today as a magazine. I'm going to show you some articles into leading thinkers in the evangelical community that are corrupted by the same progressive virus that is in these celebrities, because these are demonic powers that get into the gates of influence and they mess with your head. It's in the church too. And you guys will recognize it right away because they're all anti-Trump. I can tell you something. If they're anti-Trump, check them out twice. Check them out 3 times. Because Trump ain't no angel. But I'll tell you what. It's like I told people. America's not good enough and virtuous enough to get a Huckabee or a Carson or a Cruz. But it ain't wicked enough to deserve a Hillary. So somewhere in the middle, God gave us a Cyrus. Pray for this man because he is the symbol of America. Torn between a desire to do right and a fallen nature. Pray that he meets God and knows God and surrounds himself with the right counsel. Because what you're watching now is the demonic manifestation of angry spirits in every group that is like, whoa, over this thing. I mean, where were the riots? Did you see any riots when Obama got elected twice? Were there not 30, 40, or 50 million upset people that didn't get their will? And how come when Democrats lose, they're allowed to get media support and applause while they bus in people to destroy property and act like jerks? But the moment that fictitious hate crimes, one incident can happen, imaginary incident, fake news on a Facebook post, some kids trying to make some money, and they zero in on like fake news. They want to go to Facebook. Fake news is what you get 24 hours a day from MSNBC, CNN, and the New York Times. That's fake news. When 5 police officers were shot in the course of 3 weeks, and it's buried into 20 minutes later in a broadcast, but they're talking about Melania Trump's fashion choices. Tell you what, fake news is right there now. All right. I may not sound happy, but I am. I'm just saying. I'm just saying, right? Somebody's got to say it. Somebody's thinking it. Somebody might as well say it. Might as well be me. I'll be the voice of your frustration and your psychoses. All right, remember, the Underground. 7munderground.com. I'm going to go there next. I'm going to do a little, maybe I could do a live interaction there. So 7munderground.com, the 7 mountains of culture, 7 mind melders, 7 ways the enemy tries to get into your head. And it's an underground movement because we're moving on up to the east side. Okay, so I'm going to go to the Underground next. Go there. It's like $7.77 a month. It's cheap for the work that we're going to be doing there, because not everybody wants to get involved with politics. I am actually a Bible teacher. I will get back to this book, but I think the Lord has possessed me with this subject, because this is where the battle of the kingdom is right now. It's unpacking the church into every area of culture, and don't go back in your little Ziploc revival container. You're going to have to get out of the box and mingle with the Babylonians. All right. Talk to you later. How you guys doing, Periscopians? Well, I'm going to post that. Let's post it publicly. Woo! So anyway, Facebook is off. I always feel like that's a little bit more, I have to behave on Facebook, but you guys can just be me. So what's happening out there? You guys are all in the Underground, right? So I'm going to flip off of here and go to the Underground next. Maybe I'll turn the screen sideways. Anyway, I had a miserable night last night. I was coughing the whole night because I had this post-nasal drip. Kept me up all night. So it's a mysterious kind of thing. But I'm glad I could do this broadcast now. All right. Okay. If you don't got the money, why do you think I'm doing this 5 days a week? So people like you that don't have any money can get me free. But I am going to go to the Underground right now because I'm going to drill down a little bit on the questions and answers of the community. You know, my ninja community. All ninjas, join me there in the Underground. I'm heading there now. 7munderground.com. Bye-bye.